Sam Ekstrom, Luke Inman, Zone Coverage Draft Guide. How's it going? We're talking Vikings targets, wide receivers, the current topic of conversation. Vikings need one. Stephon Diggs traded to Buffalo. They've got Adam Thielen and a bunch of unknowns. Who is going to be the Diggs replacement? This is one of the deepest classes of all time at the wide receiver position. You really can't go wrong. You've probably got day one talents leaking into the third round just because of how deep it is. Let's start with day one. You've got Jefferson, Mims, and Rager, your three favorites here. I love Jalen Rager. I mean, he's a return guy. He can go deep. He can kind of work in the slot, shifty. I really like what he brings. But the other Big 12 kid, Denzel Mims, you saw at the Senior Bowl, tore it up there. Take us through these three wide receivers.
Yeah, again, there's a tier, like we talked about offensive tackles. There's a big drop-off after the big three, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, the speedster. So if any of those guys were to start to slip past Denver Broncos at 15, I think Rick's starting to make some calls and making a move up. But one of the best wideout classes we've seen in maybe a decade, if not longer. There's going to be plenty of options. Mims, certainly every stop along the way, from the Senior Bowl where he dominated to the Combine where he ripped it up, 6'2", big, bulky, ran under a 4.4. That's a guy that I'm circling saying that's about the sweet spot at 22 or 25. Remember, the Vikings have plenty of needs. Secondary's decimated. Offensive line we talked about. Wideouts, we need one after Stephon Diggs. What is their pecking order? They have Olabisi Johnson. They have Chad Beebe, don't forget, as well. And I think with Adam Thielen, you certainly have a nice young mix, but you're going to have to add somebody early on. If it's not day one, it's going to be day two. Luckily, there is great depth.
It's going to be so interesting to see who leaks into day two, because I think you could argue that several of these day two targets could go in round one, depending on teams' evaluation. T. Higgins is certainly that kind of talent. Van Jefferson, maybe. Michael Pittman. KJ Hamler's intriguing. He's a true slot guy, 5'9", really fast, really explosive from Penn State if the Vikings wanted to address the slot. But what do you think of these day two options?
Well, I love them. I mean, just in short, I love them. I think you feel really good if you have to go offensive line and cornerback. Let's just say, for example, day one, you can get some really good options on day two and day three. The guy I'm circling, you talked about KJ Hamler, Percy Harvin type of vibe. He's a bully. The guy I'm circling, Michael Pittman from USC. He is a guy with his pedigree and NFL genes. Remember, Michael Pittman, his dad played for the Arizona Cardinals.
7,000 yards, I think.
He was outstanding. Everybody you talk to behind the scenes say this kid is an outstanding character, great football player, and that go up and get it type of guy. So if you got confidence in Beebe as a slot guy, you got confidence in Olabisi Johnson as those inside guys, maybe they're targeting a guy like Pittman or T. Higgins, guys that can go up and get it, kind of those 50-50 jump ball guys. I would be happy with either one at 58. Again, if you want my wild card who could sneak into the end of the first round, I think Michael Pittman's got the goods.
I think we got to yell at our graphics creator, too. Someone was thinking about Brandon Ayuk.
That's a Pac-12.
I do like Brandon Ayuk, though.
Yeah, Brandon, again, another name. Freaky arm length. 40-inch arms for Brandon Ayuk. Dangerous after the catch with the ball in his hands. You do not want to see him go to the Green Bay Packers at the end of the first round and have him in the division for the next, say, 10 years. He's dangerous as well. I'll round out just real quick to day two. Van Jefferson, not on a lot of people's radar going into the Senior Bowl. He may be the best route runner, not just one day, but all 3 days, all week. Van Jefferson, I think, really solidified himself as one of the cleanest route runners, which means he's probably very pro-ready. So
he's older, too, 23.
24, actually,
24.
by the time he starts.
Yeah.
And, that's the only knock on him. He is old. He's not very filled out. He's probably, if he's not filled out by now at 24, he's not going to get a lot stronger. So there's certainly some cons to Van Jefferson. But if you want a guy that can just come in right now and probably start as a number 2 wideout, I think out of them all, Van Jefferson's got those goods.
Day 3. I think you've got a crush on Juwan Jennings out of Tennessee. Big contested catch guy. I've got a crush on Devin Duvernay. I think he's got a similar skill set to Jalen Rager. Return skills, deep skills, never drops the ball. About 5'10". He's not the biggest receiver, but I think he can do everything on the field. Take us through these day 3 candidates.
Yeah, Devin Duvernay comes with a combo with Colin Johnson, his teammate at Texas. He's the big body, 6'5" wideout. Duvernay's the guy who really took over games, though, for Texas. Juwan Jennings, you mentioned, that's my crush. I get it. There's a lot of jokes. He's very slow, 4.7 40, but we do this every year, Sam. We comp somebody to Anquan Bolden. Somebody's eventually got to be the next Anquan Bolden. Juwan Jennings, nobody broke more open field tackles, including CeeDee Lamb, in the country than Juwan Jennings. So if you can get over maybe the lack of separation, just find a way to get him the ball. He is a bully, and it seems like because of that slow 40, you should be able to pluck this guy on day 3. I like those guys a lot.
Wide receivers. There's a lot of good ones and many we didn't discuss here. Check out all of our profiles in the Zone Coverage Draft Guide. Until next time, he's Luke, I'm Sam.